Ms. Polina, how are you?
I'm fantastic today.
Are you? People
Yeah.
are saying that we're operating on a union schedule. That's right. Unions suck. If
You suck for being late.
no, we're not late.
What do you mean?
Union schedule means that you get all of these different breaks. You ever had to interact with a union worker? I'm not going to say where this happened to me, but I one time went to a facility, and at the facility, at the facility, you know what they said? We need to take a break. I said, what? We just started. They said, yeah, we get a 15-minute break. I said, what? They said, yeah, we get a 15-minute break. It's part of the union. Oh, okay. And I was there, and I was waiting. They took a 15-minute break. They literally just went and sat down and just looked. And then got up and
Sometimes
started
you
working
need
again.
a break.
But
Sometimes you just need a break. I'm
fine.
going strong with the union of the best business show.
Listen, some unions, because of the factory situation, okay, I get why they were created. I get they were trying to help.
You don't get like white collar unions, is what you were trying to say.
No, they're stupid.
Okay.
By the way, I have a white
Moving
collar on. If you're in like some of these places, we'll talk about it. Let's just start talking. We're
So-
going to talk a lot about free markets today.
So this is interesting. Ready? Goldman Sachs crushed analyst expectations on strong bond trading results, and its shares rose 3%.
What are you talking about, Goldman Sachs? The first topic is Bitcoin. What is going on right now? Talk about union. There's a union performance going on here at the moment.
I'm on a union schedule.
Goldman Sachs isn't even listed
I
on
talk
here.
about what I want to talk about.
Do you want to just skip
Oh.
to banks?
No, we can start with Bitcoin.
All right, what do you want to say about Bitcoin? Do you have a topic?
Oh yeah, I do have a topic. Oh yeah. It went up to 22% or $22,000 or something.
Bitcoin has topped $22,000. What do you think about that?
I think that's great because it's going in the correct direction.
You thought Bitcoin was headed in the wrong direction before?
Somebody's asking if I graduated high school. No, guys. I barely graduated middle school.
One of my favorite things that Polina's ever told me is that when she came from Bulgaria at what, 9 years old, 8 years old?
8.
At 8 years old, she said that in Bulgaria, they were solving for X in like second grade. They, like X equals 2. And
Yeah.
she got here, and in American math class, they were like 1 + 1 =
So
2.
and we were solving for X in first and second grade. When I came here, I don't know why, but I skipped third grade. Flex. And then they put me in fourth grade. And in fourth grade in the United States of America, kids were they're like the math problems were like 3 + 7. And I was like, are you guys kidding right now? I was a genius for a solid like 5 years, and then it all went downhill.
Well, and then Americans caught up. See, it's a tortoise versus hare. Y'all had us in the first half.
No.
Y'all had us in the first half. But what about now?
No, it's because I had a second level Bulgarian education, and the Americans kind of like.
What's 9 times
sucked
9?
me
What's
in.
9 times 9?
81.
Ooh, that was good. That was very good.
Okay.
All right. What do you with Bitcoin? It went to
So
$22,000.
Yeah.
Here's my word of caution. I have no clue. Did we hit the bottom? I don't know. Are we going up higher? I don't know. Are we going down lower? I don't know. And I think people get very excited when the price goes up, especially when it's been bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited when it goes up. I'm not excited when it goes down, just like everyone else. I'm human. But it is important to remember that in an asset like Bitcoin, as in the stock market and many other assets, where the dollar will get depreciated against the asset, the timeless investing principle of dollar cost averaging into an asset that you want to hold for a really long period of time tends to work the best. So you read however you want into that. That's my thoughts on it. I don't have very much else to say. What's up with the banks?
So the banks are doing well. That's what I was trying to say
Of course they're
earlier.
doing well.
So if a recession were to arrive in the US, there would normally be evidence of pain at America's biggest lenders, but so far top banks aren't seeing major signs of weakness.
People
Why?
giving me a shout out. They saying I look extra rested today. You know why? I slept 8.5 hours last
did,
night.
he did.
I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I was like, where am I? I was so deep in sleep, I didn't know that what awake meant.
Yeah, and then you woke me up for no good reason. Okay.
Hey, that's how life works. In terms of the banks, of course, banks are going to do well. Why? Anytime that you have economic volatility to the upside or downside, banks can figure out a way to make money. And when you look at something like interest rates going up, guess what? Bonds tend to be able to deliver some type of return, and banks are huge traders of bonds. That's one key piece. A second piece is that banks have had an absolute heyday going out and lending mortgages for quite a while now. One of the key things that I would argue is that there's also in a transitionary period where mortgage rates started to rise and the psychology of the market hadn't changed yet. There was still plenty of people who were like, man, I want that 2.5, that 2.75, maybe even a 2.8% mortgage. It's 3.2. There's not really that big of a difference. And so they were still borrowing as if there were super, super low rates, even into 3.5 up into 4%. And then eventually it got to the point where psychology changed. But there was a window in time where people were still borrowing and thought the party was going on, but they were paying more on a percentage basis. And so banks also benefit from that as well.
My question is like, well, what are the investment bankers doing? I mean, there's no deals that are getting closed and done. Well, and I asked that question.
Well, investment bankers, just so we're all clear here, they don't need deals to be done to make money. How much do you think investment bankers have been paid on the Elon Musk Twitter saga?
Why? Because
how much have lawyers been? They're billing hours in many cases.
Oh, well.
Lawyers specifically, right? The lawyers are making a field. They're like, dude, we hope this never gets solved.
However, investment banking revenue at JP Morgan fell 61% last quarter, and Morgan Stanley dipped 55%. So that's pretty significant.
Because also,
no,
I bet you if you overlaid that with
IPOs.
IPOs, yes. Well, if you overlaid that with IPOs, also M&A, same thing. So like it is directionally correct that less deals that get done, obviously investment banking gets less revenue, but there is an element of fee generation for all sorts of services, whether it's lawyers, accountants, investment bankers, whatever, they still can make some money even if deals don't get done.
Okay.
All right, what's next? Flying taxis.
Yeah. So Virgin Atlantic Airways, not to be confused with Virgin Galactic, right? That's the thing?
So not going to space, but on Earth.
Right. They're carrying out test flights using a flying taxi model from UK startup Vertical Aerospace as the futuristic technology moves closer to becoming a reality.
Dumb.
Do you know eVTOLs? Is that
Dumb.
what it's called? Why? I actually think this could work.
Dumb.
Why?
It's called a helicopter.
Okay, it's not called a helicopter.
No, literally a vertically taking off thing that can carry people. It's called a helicopter.
He's freaked out by helicopters. This is why he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I don't fuck with helicopters. Not exactly my thing.
So, but you don't think this is cool?
What's cool about it?
Well, they're competing.
Sure, if you get the cost of a helicopter down enough where anyone and everyone can take it to move from
taxi.
point A to point B.
It's
okay,
a flying
cool.
Taxi.
But here's the problem with a lot of these ideas is everyone always thinks like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then you're like, oh, the government controls the FAA.
Yeah. Well, that's
and the
what
FAA is like, we ain't going to allow this.
That's what I was going to say. I got enough stuff up there flying around.
You and I, in a 2-year span in New York City, how many helicopter crashes
Oh, I don't want to talk about them. They scare me.
did we either witness or did we hear? There was one on the west side of New York, on the west side of Manhattan, where the helicopter was coming in. They were trying to land, and I believe that they missed, and they teetered and they fell into the water. Thank God the pilot was able to get out, and there was only one injury, if I remember correctly.
Because the guy stubbed his toe.
No, he twisted his ankle.
Oh.
There was a guy who twisted his ankle trying to help. But that was the first one. And then the second one, unfortunately, the helicopter pilot died. It was raining, and he was coming into one of the high rises, and he hit the high rise, and it created, like, I think, an electrical fire.
And there was a third one.
And it was just a massive, I was on the street when it happened, not right there, but like blocks away. And I remember it was just like, boom. And then it came out that there was this huge helicopter that crashed in the building.
Right, but wouldn't these be a little bit more safe? Because they're kind of like small airplanes. Helicopters, I don't know. Kobe.
My huge thing in all of this is always where there is potentially value created, people will go and they will try to build solutions. Also, there was a third helicopter now that I'm remembering.
The intern?
Was it the intern?
The Business Insider intern?
Was that the one who got caught?
Yeah, let's not go, because I don't remember the details, and you're going to get it wrong.
I'm just going to say how I remember it, and maybe I get it wrong, maybe I get it right, which is there was a helicopter. It had tourists/civilians on it. It wasn't like some billionaire or whatever. And it crashed into, I think it was the Hudson. And as part of the prep for the helicopter, they basically have like a seatbelt cutter. Right. And the seatbelt cutter, there's like a little quick like tutorial. Hey, if in the event that we crash into the river, take the seatbelt cutter, cut your seatbelt, and swim out from the helicopter. Sounds like a pretty tough thing to do. In the military, we train soldiers to do that in case they're ever in that situation. Now we have civilians being asked to do it. And so in that specific incident, the helicopter went down in the river. The pilots that worked for the company were able to both cut their seatbelt and they were able to swim out. But unfortunately, the civilians were trapped and did not get out. And so when you look at that stuff, that is in, I don't know how many helicopter flights there are in a single year in New York City, but those are just 3 incidents that happened in what, the last 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, I don't know. It's scary. One time, though, in Iceland.
Those are helicopters.
We went in a helicopter in Iceland. That was my birthday gift for him.
I peed my pants.
But like they like land you near a volcano or something, and it's like where the earth split.
Yeah, I was more scared of the hole in the earth than I was of the helicopter, but I didn't like either.
Something about Iceland. If this was the United States, you would have to sign waivers. Like they would never let you get that close to the edge of the earth where.
I was looking over and my stomach was dropping. I gotta get out of here.
And so the pilot, she was like, "Get closer so I can take a picture of you guys." And he was like, "I'm good right here." You did not want to get close to that.
Nah, she was like, "Get closer." I was like, "You get closer, lady." I'm not getting close.
Okay.
And the photo, I was like, just make it look like I'm standing close.
Maybe tomorrow's show I'll provide a photo. It's pretty crazy.
Okay. What's going on with the brain-computer interface now that we're over the flying taxis?
So, I cannot believe this happened. Speaking of New York City, a man had a brain-computer interface implanted in his head.
White and purple Gatorade are the best.
And so it's made up, the implant is made up of wires and electrodes into a blood vessel in the brain, and they put it in the brain of a patient with ALS. And so the hope is that he's lost his ability to like move and speak, that he'll be able to surf the web and communicate via email and text simply by thinking. The device will translate his thoughts into commands sent to a computer. I freaking love this stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humanity has changed forever. It's a historic development. People have long talked about the singularity, where man and machine will be melded together. That's what we're watching happen right here. This is the first step. First U.S. patient to get a computer implanted in the brain. These things are incredibly small, but they could be absolutely profound in their impact in the world. I understand that there are plenty of people who are nervous, who are scared, who don't actually understand what is happening, because I saw plenty of comments today when I tweeted this saying, oh, great, now they can send ads to our brain. Oh, great, they're gonna rot our brains with all the nonsense and spam. Yes, there are risks, but I think the place where this is going to be heavily accepted and encouraged and really drive research is in the medical field, specifically like the gentleman here who has ALS. And now there is a potential solution. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed to work. Doesn't mean that we don't have to study all the long-term impacts. Doesn't mean that there could be side effects. All that is on the table. But the promise that we could take a piece of technology, put it into someone's brain, and solve a specific problem that they have, like ALS, is pretty cool.
Yeah, and they've already, actually, this is not the first person. They've already implanted the devices. There's a startup called Synchron. They've done this into 4 patients in Australia who have not experienced any side effects and have been able to carry out such tasks as sending WhatsApp messages and making online purchases. Huh. Interesting.
No, see, that's the dumb stuff.
Why would it
like
do
the
that?
second that they're like, oh, you can make online purchases,
Well,
like you're idiots.
I think the point is that like you can use your brain to do things that you would normally do surfing the web.
I understand, but I also think there's tons of responsibility for the people who are doing this, and there's an ethical situation. And one of the big things that they should pay attention to is the medical applications. Not can I hook up Jeff Bezos with more revenue because I can think about buying something. Wow. The second thing that I worry about, I saw someone comment about being hacked. I'm gonna forget the name. What was the Netflix like a TV show a while ago? I think it was on Netflix. That was all about like Washington D.C. and the political players, and there's a journalist, and there's like people getting killed.
What is it?
Anyone remember?
With the guy, with the man.
with the guy. What is it?
House of Cards.
House of Cards. House of
Thank
Cards.
you, guys.
I think it's in House of Cards where there is, I think the president or the vice president, I can't remember, has a pacemaker. And the pacemaker is
hacked it or
potentially, they're worried about it being hacked, or there's a scene, something to do with the pacemaker. And then it's the whole idea of like, if it's an Internet of thing, and it could be hacked, then
Right.
there could be issues.
Right.
So immediately people jump to like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna put a computer in my brain. What happens if somebody could like hack my brain? Which I don't know the answer to it, but
I'm sure.
I think that is a concern as well for people, either psychologically not wanting to adopt this, or it is actually a risk that needs to be addressed.
Every time something like this comes up, everybody thinks they have like an original thought. Ooh, what if they can hack the brain or hack the chip? I'm sure the people working on this have already thought about that. So hopefully they have put into place things.
Well, if anything has been taught to us over the last 2 years, it's that most of the people we thought were thinking about stuff didn't
That's
really
fair.
think about it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Remember when they were like, oh, there's a pandemic. We need masks and gloves. Let's call up our friends overseas to send it to us.
We're not talking about the pandemic.
I'm just saying, like, you would have thought, hey, maybe if we're going to prepare for stuff. Right now, did you know that right now at the moment, oil prices, they've been going to the sky?
Sky
Reach
high.
for the sky. You know, Toy Story reference. Do you know Toy Story? Have you ever seen Toy Story? You've never seen Toy Story?
I've seen Toy Story with the stupid cowboy hat.
Stupid.
I don't like it. Woody.
Stupid.
You guys, I was way more mature than like my peasant, classmates who are watching frickin' you.
Classmates, I still watch it. Sophia and I are gonna do a binge. We're going every time we watch an Adam Sandler movie, then we're gonna watch a cartoon movie. Back and forth, back and
Hold
forth.
on. For the record, yesterday I went to work out and I was like, "Hey, Anthony, can you watch the baby?" He said, "Sure." I come back. They are
Legend
watching,
dad move, sure.
They're watching the All In podcast.
Yes.
So there is no Toy Story.
and what was she doing?
She was watching.
She was
Against
she
her
was
will.
she was zoned in. She was like, "Tell me about the inflation, Chamoff."
Okay.
David, what do you think about Joe Biden? She was just sitting there. She was just literally just like, all right, I got the information.
Oh
It's being
my
transported into my brain.
Yes.
She's a genius, by the way.
I know.
Sorry, I taught her how to wave this weekend.
I said she learned how to wave, and he said she did not learn how to wave. She was taught how to wave.
I mean, yeah, that is what happened.
Okay.
I have a checklist of things. If you have any comments as to what else we should add to the list, message me. So far, waving, kissing on demand,
Hugs.
just lots of hugs. I got the whole checklist. We're just moving through that real quick. Last thing I'm going to say.
Wait, no, I have one more topic. What are you doing?
Well, before we get to the heat wave, is on the whole idea of various movies to watch and different types of content. The other thing that I believe is very important is exposure to many different ideas. And so this weekend, I was supposed to be reading. I told Polina I'm going to read. And then all of a sudden I started to watch a documentary on my phone. And then it was 45 minutes. I was like, I do this real quick. And Polina started getting mad at me. And so I hit her with, I'm learning.
Do you want to tell the people about the Jay-Z thing you watched?
That's another. Actually, I watched 2 documentaries back to back when I was supposed to be reading. Jay-Z did a interview with Kevin Hart, which I didn't know Kevin Hart had a show, Heart to Heart. It's on Peacock. That's probably why I didn't know
but
about
it's on YouTube now.
It's
Is it not?
I don't want to encourage people to go watch pirated content,
don't
but
watch.
if you happen to search on YouTube Kevin Hart Jay-Z, you may or may not find a thing that looks very similar to the interview in the episode on Peacock. And so if you go and you watch it, it's fantastic. Jay-Z is obviously, 1, incredibly intelligent, 2, has great kind of rise through the years, but he is probably more open, I think, and honest than I've seen him in most other interviews. And so it's definitely worth going to check out. Again, it's on Peacock. You should watch it on Peacock. But if you happen to not have Peacock like me and you search on YouTube Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, you may or may not find something that looks very similar to the episode.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. And then we have 30 seconds.
Oh, somebody
left.
said train her to burp. Talk about Sophia. I sometimes I burp on command and she laughs, and Polina hates it.
No. Okay. We have 20 seconds left. The UK is racing for the hottest day on record with the highs of 106 Fahrenheit.
This is not the hottest day on record.
No, for them.
No, I understand, but
But-
it's just
but-
because humans have small brains, and we only started actually recording this in recent history. But I'm sure it was hotter
anyway.
at some point previously in the
People are
history. of the
freaking
Earth.
out because 106 degrees in Miami is nothing, but we also have AC. As
They don't have AC in the UK.
a lot of people in Europe do not have AC.
Well, they should just do what
strong and powerful enough. But I was reading Morning Brew today, and I thought it was hilarious what they said about this. They were like, "It's so hot in Europe, Europeans might actually start putting ice in their drinks now."
Well, what I think is
Nobody
they should
thought
do is
that was
they
hilarious.
should
I
do
thought it
exactly
was
what the
hilarious.
settlers to America did. When the settlers came to America, there was no air conditioning. Instead, what they did is they simply built buildings with really high ceilings that were able to cool themselves. They were much smarter.
Anthony.
They were better architects than we are today.
No, that was from Europe. They took that idea.
That was the point.
Oh my
That
God.
was the point. Was the Europeans already figured this shit out? They'd be all right. Drink some water, you'll be good.
Have
Don't
a
worry.
great day, guys.